Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diablo to D&D. My name is David, and today we're going to be creating Tornado. So Tornado is a druid skill, and it's partway up the wind tree, and so it currently sits at the 10th level feature. I'd gone back and forth trying to decide which one to keep between Tornado and Twister. Twister was a bit more mechanically complex. I tried actually to see if I could get them to be in the same ability, but I kept running into problems and it didn't fully work. So here's what I've got so far. Tornado. Beginning at 10th level, as an action, you can summon a tornado to scour a point you can see within 60 feet of you. The tornado is a 10-foot radius, 30-foot high cylinder centered on that point. For 1 minute, you can use your action to move the tornado up to 30 feet in any direction along the ground. The area in the tornado is lightly obscured and is difficult terrain for creatures of your choice. Any creature of your choice that enters the area for the first time in a turn, or starts its turn there, makes a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC. A creature takes 6d6 bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone on a failed save, or half as much damage and isn't knocked prone on a success. A creature knocked prone this way can't stand up unless they succeed a strength saving throw against your spell save DC. You can use this ability once per long rest. So, a couple different influences coming from different places. I actually tried to see if I could get it into just a 10-foot diameter, but putting down a 5-foot radius doesn't really feel right. I also didn't make this a line emanating from you, because that's what Tornado and Twister do. Well, Tornado is a line and Twister is a cone. But that's already with Arctic Blast here, and I don't know, it didn't feel right, so I figured I might try a tornado that you can kind of control as you move it around the battlefield. Just something a little different, not an exact one-to-one replication of the mechanic in Diablo, but, adding some spice in might be, interesting. And just, let me know what you think. Now, this wording is taken almost exactly from Whirlwind, which is from the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. There's a couple different major changes. The size and certain other things about the Whirlwind about the Tornado is exactly the same. But the damage is a little bit lower because it's a 10th level ability, not a 7th level spell. And it doesn't pull people up and throw them into the air. It just keeps them on the ground and knocks them prone. In fact, the knocking prone is actually kind of a combination of it's kind of adding Twister into there, because Twister stuns, but stun is always very powerful. So instead, what I did is I just had people knocked prone. You can see that on Hurricane. Technically, Diablo's Hurricane doesn't do that, but again, innovation. But I did like the idea of having not just damage, but something else that you can do. So you can actually drop this tornado, for example, on top of an ally. And even though the area is lightly obscured, if you can keep an ally, hypothetically, you have an ally who grapples a creature and shoves them into the area. They make a dexterity saving throw, they might take some damage, might get knocked prone. If your ally can keep them grappled in that area, then they continuously make that bludgeoning damage, and they're prone. So that's actually pretty darn powerful, which is one of the reasons why it's only once per long rest. Now, I did take a look at how the fire druid handled things, and I am less than impressed. The fire druid might have to get some tweaking. This was one of the earlier classes subclasses that I had worked on, and it's nice and symmetrical. You have fire, and you have fire, half physical, and half fire, half physical. But it needs a lick of paint. But the thing is, I looked at Fissure and saw that you can use this ability a number of times equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded up per long rest. So why not Tornado? And I don't know. The idea is that it's kind of a spell, and eventually I'm going to have to go back and do a lick of paint, do a once over on all of these things. But I'm going to be revisiting the Fire Druid, seeing what I need to change, and making it happen. But I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing really unique about this. There's no interesting mechanics. It's just damage in an area that knocks people prone. I mean, it's kind of what's that spell? Evard's Black Tentacles. Yeah, the one that the Fathomless Warlock gets. It's just kind of this. Here's this this big area that can keep people trapped inside of it. But in this case, you can move it. Now, one thing I did have to think of is not being able to knock the person prone, or being able to knock the person prone means that they can't escape it very well. But that's kind of the point of a tornado. Whirlwind did that by knocking people up into the air. This one knocks them down the other direction. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's pretty short one today, I think. There's not really much to talk about here. Actually, you know what? What I had considered for including Tornado and Twister in the same skill is just calling the skill Whirlwind. And then here's the Tornado ability, or alternatively, you can create 3 5-foot radius, or 5-foot, like, Tornado was supposed to be large, kind of a 2x2, and Twister was supposed to be just a 1x1, kind of a medium and large creature. With the Twister version, you could move them around, and they would stun or knock prone or whatever, and Tornado was just a big bunch of damage that you could sit in one place and knock people into. But as it stands, I think I'm just going to leave it here, and I think I'm going to end it here. You can contact me at XenozFan2, that is XENOZFAN2, on Blue Sky and Reddit, and you can contact the channel directly at Diablo TODND on Blue Sky and YouTube. Thank you much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good whatever.